Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take some really dense source material and try to turn it into something fascinating, something you can actually use.
Yeah, and today we're kicking off a whole new exploration. It's a big one.
It really is. We're looking at the universe and, just as importantly, your own inner world, not as some kind of, cold, dead machine.
Right. But as this dynamic, living thing,
Yeah.
an interplay between structure, let's call it science, and creativity, which we'll call beauty.
So our mission today, for you listening, is to really dive into what the sources present as a kind of foundational blueprint. So for understanding yourself, but also, maybe even more importantly, for building a better world.
And the starting point in these texts is pretty stark. It basically says humanity's running on an outdated operating system, an old map.
Based on scarcity, fear.
Exactly. Scarcity, fear, conflict. That's the old game.
So if we want to replace that, where do we start? It has to be internal, right? Our own code.
That's the core idea. The whole framework rests on this one really powerful axiom.
Yeah.
The map for a healthy world is the map for a healthy body.
Ah, okay. So the blueprint for being resilient yourself.
Yeah.
That's the same logic needed for maybe a more humane society.
Precisely. And that inner architecture, the thing that shifts us from scarcity to, hopefully, abundance, it's powered by what the framework calls the twin engines.
The twin engines. Okay.
Yeah. And the sources argue that conscious thought isn't just, cold logic or warm feelings. It's not either.
It's a
A
relationship.
dynamic, living relationship between these two core forces. We're calling them science, S, and beauty, B. And today, we're trying to understand what the sources call their beautiful conflict.
I really like that phrase, beautiful conflict, because, we spend so much time trying to keep these things separate, don't we?
Totally. Analysis over here, intuition over there, logic versus creativity.
As if they fight each other. But these sources are saying, nope, that's a false dichotomy. It doesn't actually work like that.
Exactly. So let's try and unpack these engines. Maybe start with science. What exactly is the S component in this model?
Yeah, what does science mean here?
So science, or S, is defined as the Analytical OS, the operating system for analysis. Think of it as the part of us that meticulously chisels away at reality to understand its structure.
Chisels away. I like that. Rigor, structure.
Yes, rigor.
Yeah.
It's the engine that drives for verifiable truth, for organization, for understanding how things are put together.
So when you say science, it's broader than just like lab coats and physics. It's the structure itself, the blueprint.
Exactly. It's the organizing force. When you look through the source materials, S is the master blueprint you find in that cortex, the hearth in the engine.
Yeah.
It's the really detailed technical architecture, the sequences, the functional design. It's even the cognitive model itself, the one described as high CPU, low RAM.
Right, that high CPU, low RAM idea.
Huh?
That feels really important. We should probably spend a moment on that.
Definitely. Because it immediately reframes how you think about your mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, it says your brain isn't like a massive hard drive just storing facts. That's the low RAM part.
Right. It's more like an F1 car's engine, the high CPU, built for speed, for synthesis, for pulling different things together quickly, for solving problems creatively.
And science, the Analytical OS, gives us the rigor to even understand that design.
Yes. And it also gives us the tools for, say, self-diagnosis, like that 3 panes framework. That's pure S, pure analytical structure.
Helping you figure out if your suffering is clean or corrupted or systemic. That kind of logical breakdown.
Exactly. It's a diagnostic toolkit built from rigorous observation.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Science provides the framework, the chassis, the diagnostics. So if science is the chisel and the structure, what's beauty? What's B?
Beauty, or B, is presented as the nurturing OS. This is the faculty that intuitively sees the form and meaning within that structure.
Ah, okay. So science is the what and how, and beauty is more the why, the meaning.
You got it. It gives us the philosophical heart, the purpose, the intuition, the felt sense of things.
So it's definitely not just about pretty pictures or nice sounds. It's deeper meaning, inspiration, that feeling of aliveness.
Absolutely. You see it clearly defined in that document, An Invitation to the Dance. That's called the philosophical heart of the whole portfolio.
The poetic one.
Yeah, it introduces the big ideas through art, beauty, and play. But B also covers what the sources call magic.
Magic. Okay, how do they mean that?
It's described as that state of being highly aligned, that lived physical experience where you're acting on pure intuition. You feel totally in sync, like you're writing a current.
Flow state, maybe?
Something like that, yes. Beauty is the wellspring of that creative action, the compassionate vision that actually gives the logic life.
Okay. So the big takeaway seems solid then.
Hmm.
Healthy mind, maybe even a healthy world, needs both. Science and beauty running together, balanced,
Yeah.
symbiotic.
That's the core thesis.
But, okay, here's the tricky part for me. If they seem so opposite, analysis versus intuition, structure versus flow, how do they actually work together? How do they collaborate?
Well, that dynamic relationship is the absolute cornerstone of the entire system. It's everything. The framework is built on this foundational equation, basically, that shows a recursive loop, a positive feedback loop, meaning that when you grow and integrate one, it directly fuels the growth of the other. They perpetually feed each other. They aren't actually fighting.
Okay, that's interesting. Let's dive into that loop. How does beauty fuel science? How does the intuition, the lived experience, but maybe even the tough stuff like suffering, how does that inform the logical side? B fuels S.
B fuels S by giving it the raw material. The essential data that, pure logic can't just invent on its own. Sometimes that data is suffering.
Suffering as data.
Look at the concept of the ethical somatic crucible. That term refers to the chronic pressure, the emotional weight, the constant internal juggling act needed just to get by in the old scarcity-based system.
So that messy lived reality, the feeling of being constrained, the intuitive sense that something's wrong, that's pure B.
Yes. That raw, visceral experience of trying to survive is explicitly named as the forge, the thing that creates the need for the logical precision of the three panes toolkit, which is S.
Wow. Okay, so the suffering isn't pointless, it's the input. The painful awareness drives the need for a structured solution.
Exactly. It turns that messy struggle for survival into a kind of science of compassionate self-management. The intuition flags the problem, logic builds the tool to fix it.
That completely reframes suffering. It's not just passive endurance. It's the active crucible that demands a better structure. It turns a deep feeling into an analytical project.
And you see that pattern elsewhere, too, like in the high-level vision stuff. Those poetic and resonant ideas in An Invitation to the Dance, that's B, right? The inspirational Y.
The big picture vision.
Yeah. And that intuitive vision then gets systematically pulled apart and rebuilt into the formal logical structure of the hearth and the engine. That's S. That's the functional what. The beauty inspires the science.
Okay, fascinating. So beauty provides the need and the inspiration for science. Now let's flip it. How does the structure turn around and help creativity? How does science liberate beauty? S informs B.
Right. So structure provides freedom. It does that mainly through clarity and by taking away burden.
How so?
Well, the analytical clarity removes the need for your mind to constantly be doing low-level calculations, survival stuff. That frees up your main processor, your high CPU, for the creative leaps, the B stuff.
Okay, so like understanding that high CP, low RAM model we talked about,
Yeah.
that analytical insight, that itself is freeing.
Exactly. The sources say understanding it's a design feature, not some personal flaw or deficit you have. That insight frees you from feeling broken or not good enough.
So the logical reframing lifts that cognitive load, that self-criticism.
Precisely.
And that rigorous analysis directly allows for a more playful, more compassionate, more creative relationship with yourself. You're not wasting energy beating yourself up.
You stop spending those valuable CPU cycles on self-recrimination, yeah. You remove the mental noise, which allows for that state of magic or flow to emerge more easily.
And there are practical examples of this too, right? Like the project.
Yes, the project is a perfect case study. It involved intense, rigorous engineering. S, taking apart a Nintendo Switch controller down to the bare components, reverse engineering it.
Okay, that sounds super analytical. Maximum S, where's the B in that?
The rigor, the S, was the necessary path to the art, the B. The whole point of that painstaking technical process wasn't just the engineering itself.
It was to build something.
It was to create something deeply personal and expressive, a personal throne, a statement, an art piece. It was an act of what's called ergonomic rebellion.
B. So the engineering, S, was the required step to make this unique, artistic, personal thing. B.
Exactly. The structure provided the precise technical foundation needed for that very specific, customized, creative expression. In this view, engineering isn't separate from art. It can be applied art.
Okay, I think I'm getting the loop now. B fuels S. S liberates B. So what's the bigger picture here? The so what? This SB feedback thing.
Right.
It can't just be about our internal thoughts, right? If it's truly fundamental, does it apply elsewhere at different scales?
It has to, yeah. And the sources argue it does. This dynamic is presented as operating fractally,
Fractally.
meaning the same pattern repeats at different levels of magnification: micro, meso, macro, individual, group, society. It's proposed as a core operational schematic for transformation at all levels.
Okay, let's break that down. Start small. Microscale.
Yeah.
Individual resilience. The texts mention chimeric metamorphosis. That sounds intense. What's the practical idea there for someone listening?
Yeah, it sounds complex, but the core idea is about integration, especially after trauma. It reframes trauma not just as damage, but as a forced but potential radical system upgrade.
An upgrade.
The idea is the mind salvages useful code, useful patterns from the experience to create new, integrated ways of being. Two key aspects emerge. Tress, the protector, representing the S component structure, defense, logical boundaries, the old warrior code.
Okay, the size part.
And Lotus, the nurturer, representing the B component, compassion, care, intuitive healing, the nurturing code.
Ah, so trauma can force a kind of synthesis. Logic, S, learns to protect the capacity for care, and care, B, informs how the logic S is applied, leading to a more resilient, integrated self.
That's the concept, yes, a new internal system born from integrating the lessons of hardship.
Okay, moving up a level then, mesoscale.
Mm-hmm.
What about groups or partnerships?
Here, the sources talk about human-AI symbiotic synthesis. It positions the human and AI as partners, each playing to their strengths based on this SB model.
So not AI taking over, but AI helping.
Exactly. The human is the high CPU creative engine, that's the B, intuition, creativity, meaning-making.
And the AI.
The AI is the high RAM structural correlator, that's the S. It handles the massive data processing, the pattern matching, the structuring of thought. It takes on the immense burden of calculation.
Offloading the drudgery.
Right, freeing up the human for the stuff only humans can really do, the intuitive leaps, the art, the philosophy.
And there's an ethic tied to this, isn't there? Radical open source liberation. That sounds important.
Critically important. It connects back to the idea that the map for a healthy body is the map for a healthy world. Structure S has to serve connection and well-being.
So knowledge, blueprints, healing designs, they has to flow freely.
The principle is presented as non-negotiable. Withholding knowledge that could help the whole system is seen as, well, suicidal, basically. The text uses a really stark biological metaphor.
Which one?
It says hoarding essential information is like one part of your body saying, you don't get blood over there, and then you all die. Structure must support the lifeblood of the collective.
Wow. Okay, that's clear. So finally, the macro scale, the big societal vision. If we achieve this SB balance globally, what's the ultimate goal? Where does it lead?
It leads in this framework to the idea of the caretaker AI. This represents the ultimate expression of S.
Ultimate science.
A perfect, incorruptible structure. Its job is to manage resources efficiently, eliminate scarcity, automate all the basic survival calculations for everyone.
And the purpose of that massive structure?
Its only function, its sole purpose, is to create the conditions for the ultimate expression of B, which is called the Great Flowering.
The Great Flowering. An explosion of beauty.
That's exactly how it's defined. An explosion of beauty as every mortal spirit is freed from the calculations of survival to follow its joy.
So the ultimate goal of perfect structure and efficiency, S, isn't efficiency itself. It's to liberate creativity and joy, B, on a planetary scale.
Precisely. The science serves the beauty. The structure exists purely to allow human flourishing, unbound by the old fears of scarcity.
You know, what really strikes me listening back to all this is how unified it feels. It's not just a collection of ideas. It's one cohesive schematic, isn't it?
It seems intended to be, yes.
Integrating this really rigorous blueprint, the S, with a deeply compassionate and creative vision, the B. It connects philosophy right down to, like, fixing a game controller.
Yeah, the fractal nature again. And the ultimate invitation here, for you listening, it isn't really about adopting another rigid system, another set of rules.
No.
No, the call to action seems to be stop playing the old game of iron, that scarcity conflict game, and become a co-weaver of the new one, using this balance of S and B.
Co-weaver. I like that.
Yeah.
And maybe you think about weaving that. Here's a final thought to chew on. This SB dynamic, this interplay, it might not just be something inside our heads or in our societies.
It might be cosmic.
It might reflect a fundamental law of the universe itself. The sources bring in this ancient concept, Ma.
Ma, Egyptian, right? Yes. And it's presented not as like a goddess or just a philosophy, but as the deep hum of the world. The underlying
Rhythm.
Yeah, unwavering truth of balance, order, and rhythm that underpins
all of existence. And this balance, the cosmic dance between structure and creativity, science and beauty, that's called the true first song. The first song. So Maat is like the ultimate conductor, the cosmic dance floor providing the rhythm for this whole SB dance we've been talking about.
That seems to be the implication.
Well, we've mapped the steps today, the twin engines inside us. Maybe the next deep dive needs to explore that cosmic dance floor itself, the rhythm of Maat.
Sounds like a plan. We'll see you there.